Time to join this important discussion. My name is Jaysha Ray. I'm the Associate Administrator for International Affairs at NTIA. And we are very pleased to be discussing with you a very exciting development on NTIA's side. I'll just note, if folks could please put your name and title in the chat, we would be very interested for internal use only to see who is on the call today, so that we can also continue to stay in touch with you all. So a key priority for the administration and for NTIA is the promotion of telecommunications supplier diversity. And the United States has really been a champion for industry's development of Open RAN to allow for flexibility across networks and to help drive down costs that benefit the end user. But we understand that international adoption will be critical to achieving global scale for Open RAN. And so as a result, the US government has driven numerous efforts to deepen partnerships internationally on telecommunications supplier diversity. And one opportunity for collaboration is through our Public Wireless Supply Chain Innovation Fund. And so I'm very pleased that my colleague, Amanda Toman, who is the director of this program, is here today to discuss the Notice of Funding opportunity that was recently launched. Now, also in line with our efforts to support next generation technology, I'll also note that today, NTIA is launching a 6G request for comments. And so I would really encourage everyone on the line today to take a look at that as well. And we'll put more information on that in the chat. So with no further ado, I'll now turn it over to Amanda Toman. Thank you.
All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Jaysha. I'm going to pull up some slides here, but while we're waiting for those to come up, wanted to, again, thank this crowd for the opportunity and your time this morning to brief you on our second NOFO, but also wanted to let the crowd know that we did conduct an industry day last Friday. I think there was a bit of a challenge getting everybody in who wanted to attend. So I will want to make sure that you are aware that the recordings and the material from that event can be found on our website, the ntia.gov Innovation Fund website. You'll be able to get a look at the material that was presented there, and you will have an opportunity to see the questions that were asked. And also, please use that website as a resource. We will be updating pretty consistently what we're calling frequently asked questions. So when folks are submitting questions about the NOFO, our team will directly respond to your question via email, but we're also going to post that response on our FAQ page. So we're trying to be as responsive as we possibly can, and as quickly as we possibly can to all of the good questions and comments that we have. And the material I'm going to go through today is really focusing on the contents of the NOFO. What I would recommend, we've got a hot mic. If you guys can check mute, that would be great. If you could use the material on the website for specifics and details about exactly how to submit a grant or steering your respective industry players who want to participate to that website so they can get all of the details of how to correctly follow the directions, read the NOFO. Thank you, Elena, for putting that in the chat. And really having the best opportunity you possibly can to getting an award and getting after some of this funding. So I'm going to go through this material, and I will try to go through this as quickly as I can and then leave ample time for everyone on the call to ask questions, recognizing that if we have some we have to take back, we'll do that. We will jot those down and then provide responses via the FAQ page. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started with the material. So What we are here to talk about today is our second notice of funding opportunity. So the Innovation Fund was established in the FY21 National Defense Authorization Act in the United States. It was established as a $1.5 billion competitive grant program with the objective of trying to get after accelerating, promoting the deployment of open and interoperable telecommunications technologies. We're focused on things like ensuring multi-vendor solutions are possible. We're worried about things like security, looking at things like virtualization. So with those congressionally mandated objectives that are fairly, specific, but not necessarily specific enough, we defined what we think the ultimate vision should be for the program. And, it really gives a nod to what we're doing here today. I think the end goal out of our 1.5 billion would be to have truly a competitive ecosystem that's global of trusted suppliers that we're seeing fielding of open and interoperable networks, both here in the United States as well as overseas, really leading to a healthy ecosystem of trusted suppliers ultimately is our goal. And the mission as to how we're going to do that is we're going to try to leverage this grant program to try to be the catalyst to drive that innovation, recognizing that we need to be very strategic in how we're implementing the funding that we have. Because in reality, it is rather limited when we look at folks like the incumbent suppliers. We've got Nokia, Ericsson, Samsung, Huawei, ZTE. They're spending billions of dollars a year on research and development. So how can we be as strategic as possible, and how can we work with our allies, our partners, as well as industry to try to achieve our ultimate objective of this healthy ecosystem? So as we've thought about this massive challenge that we have and all this money that we have to spend, some of you are probably aware our first notice funding opportunity was targeted on tests and evaluation, with the idea that T&E really is something to provide a foundation for the rest of the program. So the idea that we've got laboratories, we've got methodologies that are being established, that will be, my hope would be a resource across the portfolio of NOFOs that we are executing. So with that nod, NOFO 2 is really focused on supply chain, and specifically addressing the supply chain in terms of the radio unit. And we are looking at two specific technology requirement areas. They're called specific research focus areas. They're a mouthful. So SRFA or SRFA, I think, was sort of the commonly adopted name out of last week's industry day. But the first area is where we're really trying to drive open radio unit commercialization. And we're really looking at enabling new RU suppliers to provide options or additional choices for mobile network operators to leverage these open front haul interface radio units. So what we're looking for in this first bucket is really to have a fairly rapid development effort. So we're looking for approximately 18 to 24 month efforts. And we are asking that a radio unit supplier, developer, vendor be we'll call them the prime, but the prime applicant on the grant submission, when they are going to have to partner with a mobile network operator. And that mobile network operator will ultimately be the partner. And the hope in driving that is to truly drive an opportunity to get towards commercialization, where we might ultimately have radio units being deployed in commercial mobile networks in a relatively short term. We're trying to see if we can line up the delivery of these radio units with the upcoming buying cycles of some MNOs, where they might potentially be swapping out 5G equipment for some new 5G equipment. The rub with this first one is in terms of eligibility and place of performance, we are asking that the radio unit development work be done in the U.S., but some of the work supporting testing, evaluation of those radio units can be done outside of the United States. And another eligibility or specific detail is that either the radio unit provider or the mobile network operator needs to be a U.S. entity. So one example would be you could have a U.S. Radio manufacturer partnered with a foreign mobile network operator. That would be a potential viable application that could receive funding, or vice versa of that same scenario. However, the work must be done in the U.S. And then another detail in terms of cost for this topic area, we're anticipating these to be larger dollar values, just given what the ask is in terms of getting to prototype, working towards commercial ready products. These will likely be larger dollar value awards. So somewhere on the order of $25 to $45 million projects. And we are requesting that, well, it's required that there is a minimum of a 10% cost share for these projects. And noting that if a application has a cost share percentage of 16% or higher, you will receive additional points, and we'll walk through that later. So that's sort of the highlight of the first topic area. The second topic area is what we're calling open radio unit innovation. And this is really getting after what we think advancements are required for future evolutions of telecommunications. So what types of R&D can be done now so that as we get to 6G or whatever comes next, that we are developing those advanced capabilities now. And the assumption is that these will be longer periods of performance, likely on the order of magnitude, I would say 3 to 5 years. And likely smaller dollar values, just given the nature of what we're asking with this specific topic area. So the assumption is $5 to $10 million for an award in this specific bucket. And with the second one, we're not asking for any partnership requirements, and there is no cost share requirements with this topic area. So digging in a little bit further in terms of technical aspects of the topics, for SERFA 1, the commercialization piece, we're really looking to have advanced development of open front haul or open and interoperable radio units that are leaning towards lab testing and to really early field trials, such that something is potentially leaning towards a viable product at the end of the development cycle that we will have invested in. We're really trying to drive new entrants to be viable options for mobile network operators. And we're really trying to leverage that partnership requirement to get after that. So the hope is that by having a mobile network operator, or maybe a couple mobile network operators working with a radio unit provider, that there is that alignment already of a potential customer at the end of the development cycle. And then moving on to SERFA 2, the innovation piece, again, more R&D focused, and we are looking for specific, we'll call them hot topics in radio unit innovation. So think of things like software-defined radios, think of things like beamforming techniques, advanced processing capabilities for the radio, and really developing the R&D to support that with an eye to how that entity could potentially commercialize that capability in the long run. Okay, so some more specifics, and I would hope that everyone on this call takes the opportunity to go ahead and please read the NOFO. These are really just excerpts from the NOFO. You will see specific details in terms of specifications and compliance that we're looking for as part of the topic areas. So for NOFO 1, you will see things like specifications in terms of complying with 3GPP or O-RAN Alliance specifications. We are aligning to what is really commercially acceptable right now in terms of open architectures, and asking that the radio unit manufacturers are working with the mobile network operators or their quote unquote customers to define feature function sets that that customer is looking for as a result of the development of that radio unit. Again, really driving home that piece that commercial transition is really important. Ultimately, the success of what we're trying to do with these funds is to enable that greater adoption, that greater transition of open and interoperable equipment into this ecosystem. So having that commercial plan, having those partners is really going to be a big driving factor. One piece that we've called out in the NOFO is technology readiness as well as manufacturing readiness. So in terms of technology readiness, the assumption is that you are coming into this project or submitting an application with a relatively high technology readiness level capability, and that you are going to be taking that forward even higher, potentially 7, 8, probably not a 9, but getting that to a relatively high level of prototype, working towards a production level capability is ultimately what we're really trying to achieve with this first topic area. And then moving to topic area 2, again, looking at that innovation, we have outlined specific topic areas that we are asking folks to submit or bucket their submissions in. So you will see 5 topic areas outlined in that NOFO, such as SDR, beamforming, advanced modulation techniques, advanced front haul technologies. We ask that you align your submission to those specific topic areas. And, you know, again, this is for advancing radio unit capabilities, but this also has to align with open and interoperable, right? And we're trying to get to that. So the hope is that open radio access networks will enable some of these feature function sets to really be reliable. So I do see a hand up. I'm happy to take the question now or get through all of this. So why don't I get through this material? I only have, I don't know, 7 or so or more slides, and I will field everyone's questions at the end of this, if that's okay. Okay, so moving on to some of the policy topics in terms of eligibility for this NOFO and who can apply and who can participate. So we probably did put a little bit more complexity on SURFA 1, the radio unit commercialization, just because of the partnership requirement with that topic area. So we're asking that the applicant be a radio unit supplier, and that is going to be an entity that is capable of producing and getting towards commercial sale of an open radio unit. We are asking that the radio unit supplier partner with a mobile network operator, and we're asking that that be presented through a letter of partnership intent as part of the submission. And the idea is we'll see that initially at the application, and as we get, if you're lucky enough to get an award, that as we get to award and get through further execution of that effort, that partnership relationship will be more well defined as that execution steps forward. And we're asking, again, driving home that need to get to commercial deployment. So there's a requirement for a commercial transition plan as part of your application. We're asking that applicants really demonstrate how they're going to do that and how they are going to work towards that even after the period of performance of that grant, what they see as they move to the future for sort of the viability of the radio unit that we're investing in. And the unique piece here is that one of the partners must be based in the US. So it could either be the RU provider, it could be the mobile network operator. And we are asking that the work take place in the US. We understand that some of the deployment or prototyping or testing or trialing can be done outside of the US. And then, so I would say SFRA or SRFA 1 is going to be more complex in terms of the partnership requirements and eligibility. As we go to SFRA 2 and the innovation piece, all we're asking for is that the work be performed in the United States and the applicant may be based in the US or abroad. So I'm sure we're going to get a lot of questions on these, and I will try to move as quickly as we can. I will note you will see things with the asterisks on these slides, definitions of RU suppliers, definitions of mobile network operators. Those are outlined in the NOFO. So please use the NOFO as a reference, as a guide, and please read it. You will get, my hope is you will get the details, lots of answers to your questions through that document. Okay, another complexity or specification around the NOFO in terms of submitting for multiple projects. So I suppose to simplify this the best I possibly can for us. Okay, when you have a submission, the submitter, for SFRA 1, it will be that radio unit manufacturer. He or she will be the prime. So that prime will be permitted to submit one application for that specific topic area. Now, if there are partners as part of that application with that radio unit manufacturer, those sub-awardees, those subcontractors are permitted to partner really as much as you want. The stipulation around the one submission is limited to that prime applicant. And then for the excuse me, SFRA 2, we are permitting up to 3 applications from a prime. Again, there are no partnership requirements for SFRA 2. However, if there are partners, they are not constricted by that application limit. You can partner with as many as you want. It is that prime applicant that is driving the number of, or the limit in terms of applications that you can submit. In terms of submitting your proposal, when it comes to what topic area you're submitting against, hopefully it should be clear between the commercialization and innovation. Ask that you make it clear, as well as if you are submitting for research topic area 2, that you make it clear as to which of the specific radio unit innovation topic areas you are submitting your application against. Okay. So moving on to M&O letter of partnership intent. So this is a unique feature to research topic area 1, where we are asking for the radio unit manufacturer or entity to partner with a mobile network operator. And we are asking that be demonstrated through the application with a letter of partnership intent. We're asking that include details of the partnership. What is the commercial need for why this partnership is being put forward? Things like investments that are going to be committed by both of the partners. What sort of funding is going to go to each, as well as explicit points of contact as part of that letter. This is really high level. I will note that there are explicit details about the letter of partnership intent requirement. It is spelled out NOFO. You'll see it section 2.4.4, and you will be able to clearly read through the specific details of what we are asking for with that letter. Okay, so the letter of partnership intent is different from a letter of commitment. So the letter of partnership intent is a requirement for SFRA 1 because of the RU M&O requirement that we've stipulated for that. In terms of other partnerships that might be happening, maybe additional partnerships as part of SFRA 1 or partnerships for SFRA 2. We're asking that letters of commitment be provided as part of your submission package. So again, these details are outlined in the NOFO. So section 4.1.1 N of the NOFO asks that you please read that, but really walking through in detail, very similar to the letter of partnership intent, what the respective roles are of that partner, what are they going to actually do as part of the relationship? Is there any cost share or funding that's being included as part of this partnership that's being presented? And, we're asking that these letters be prepared and be signed on company letterhead, and that we've got sort of a respective senior representative from that entity signing off on this letter of commitment. So hopefully that is clear. Again, we'd ask that you reference the NOFO and happy to take questions about the difference between these two. Okay, walking through cost share. Now, as I stated at the beginning, cost share is required for the radio unit commercialization topic area. So topic area 1 has a requirement for cost share to be part of the application. The minimum amount of cost share we are requiring is 10%. However, so in order to be considered for review and as part of the application pool, you have to have that 10%. If the applicant wants to go above and beyond that 10%, we are going to be providing additional opportunities for points. So it will be a multiplier on the respective score of that proposal if there is a cost share percentage over 16%. So again, that will be included as part of your package in your SF 424 in terms of budget details, how much federal funding, and then how much cost share a specific entity is providing. So we are really trying to reward those applications that come in with a higher cost share percentage as part of their application. Okay, commercial transition plan. So for SFRA 1, I'm hoping that as you've heard me talk, that it seems obvious that we are most concerned about how the funds that we are investing in a specific project will result in the transition to a commercial capability. So in terms of your application, a commercial transition plan is required to be described in detail as part of the application. We need to see things like how the RU provider in concert with the M&O or multiple M&Os will plan on actually leveraging that capability or that investment that has been made. Understanding that there are risks, there are challenges, but really walking through how there is a plan, there is a pathway to the ultimate success and transition of the invested capability that's part of that application. So really a key piece for SFRA 1. For SFRA 2, we are also requiring a commercial transition plan. Now, in terms of technology readiness and sort of the advanced nature of the technology capability, it's not likely going to be at the same level as SFRA 1, just given what the ask is in terms of the R&D effort. So in order to ensure that the investments we're making are going to be viable and going to have a path to true commercial markets and commercial advancement, we are asking that applicants think about how their innovation in terms of software-defined radios, whatever it might be, is on a pathway to commercialization, and sort of what that path looks like and how they are going to overcome sort of that valley of death that potentially follows R&D efforts. How would the entity take forward the radio unit that they have, or that innovation that they have furthered as part of their application? Okay, so that is sort of the high-level overview of the NOFO. Again, I will stress the need for folks to please read the NOFO in detail. Please follow the specifics in terms of requirements that has been defined in the NOFO. It will really give you the best opportunity in terms of success getting after the funding that's available. And I think the thing that I forgot to note, and I apologize, is the amount of funding that is available with this NOFO. So we have set aside 420 or up to $420 million for NOFO 2. So this last slide, I've got the email that folks can leverage. If there are questions after today about the NOFO, please use innovationfund@ntia.gov to submit any questions that you might have about the NOFO. We will respond to you directly. We will also include that question response on our website in terms of frequently asked questions. Sometimes it might not be the exact question that you submitted because there potentially could be other folks that are asking similar questions. So we are going to ensure that we are responding and answering everyone's questions that are submitted to this website, or this email, and then you will see responses on the website as well. So with that, I am happy. I'm going to stop sharing and open the floor to any questions folks might have about the NOFO. Khalid?
Yeah, hello. Thank you very much for inviting us to this session. This is Dr. Khalid Al-Mashouk. I am ex-professor at King Saud University, and now I am the CEO of a neutral host network called ACES NH. I graduated from California, that's few decades ago. I have, sorry, I'm an academic, so I have to be clear and transparent. The way ORAN being born is to replace the classical vendor-oriented infrastructure. As of today, the vendor is having the lead to do the whole system integration. I think there is a component missing from your plan. Allow me to be straightforward. Before, the system integrator was working underneath the vendor, okay? And the vendor, he directs him to do what he has as a product. Now it's been flipped. The system integrator is on the top, and he has to collect the different product components from different suppliers. So I wish you consider promoting the system integrator. It is a very essential part of the success of ORAN. As of today, I have two responsibilities. I am a neutral host operator, so I build things for multi-operators, and I am also a system integrator. I see the real need of system integrator funding so he can adopt that. Going direct to the MNO, probably it will be a lot of reluctance. It might go through, but I would kindly ask you to consider the system integrator, plus considering the neutral host operator who will benefit every MNO. He will build a shareable system. This guy, and I have experience, but let me tell you, I have hundreds of sites that are neutral hosts in Saudi, in India, and in Southeast Asia. I'm approaching Europe and UK. So the neutral host is an important player in this consortium. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for your comment. And you're not the first one to bring this up. So when we had our industry day on Friday, this was brought up as well. And the general response is this is a radio unit NOFO, right? We're focused on that as the primary focus, and we're asking that mobile network operators be partnered. That does not mean that is limiting that you only have to have two. There is, you could bring additional partners or folks to what you are proposing to do in terms of your application.
No, and also, sorry to just, I forgot to mention something regarding the small cell as ORAN small cell. This is for, at least for the Saudi environment, we are using a lot of small cell. So we are now trying, we have a huge trial in Saudi to use open RAN small cell to cover a lot of buildings. So radio network is good. Small cell is part or a subset of radio remote. Thank you.
Okay, any additional questions? I see another hand up. Ali?
Yes, thank you so much. I just want to ask one question. This grant is specifically to progress the ORUs or the radio units in ORAN ecosystem. And if it is, to say, pertaining to ORAN, so it is only focused on split 7.2, or as per the 3GPP specifications, the split 6 or split 2 or even split 0 can also be considered. So this is the question from my side, from architecture point of view.
Yeah, it's a great question. We didn't specify it in the NOFO. And that was on purpose because we wanted the radio unit provider to come in with the MNO partner, them determining what that split needs to be.
So the grant is flexible. Either the use case demands split 6, split 7.2, or 2 or 0. So we can go for that.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Robert.
Yes, hi, this is Robert Pippert, or I go by Bob Pippert at Reliance Geo. So as an international MNO, I'm just want to get clarification. The NOFO did mention that overseas work could be done for MNO testing. Is funding allowed for that work overseas, or is it only limited to any work done in the US?
So we recognize that some funding would likely have to be leveraged to support that overseas testing, asking that predominantly most of the work, though, be done in the US.
Okay,
so
most of the
to answer your
work
question,
sorry.
Yes.
Okay, so most of my understanding then is that most of the RU development work needs to be done in the US, but some lab and field testing with the MNO itself can be done overseas with some funding contributed to that.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Ganesh?
Hey, I'm Dr. Ganesh, and I have a quick question. This probably was a question from the previous session. There is a distinction between a contractor and a subgrantee. So is that going to be published as a clarification? Because we're still not clear who is counted as a subgrantee and who is a contractor.
So we do have a pool of FAQs that we are preparing to be updated for the website. I will have to go back and look. I know that came up Friday as one of the questions. What is your specific question around subcontractors and subgrantees?
So we are just trying to understand what is the differentiation, because if we participate in another bid as a contractor or a sub grantee, right? We just want to make sure that we are following the rules there.
So in terms of number of applications you could submit and how that might affect that, is that what the
Correct.
question is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you are a sub grantee or a subcontractor, it's the same. The only count against an application is against that prime submitter. So whoever that company is that is basically generating the UEI is the prime. Now, if you want to be a subgrantee, subcontractor to multiple primes, that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Mike?
Amanda, Mike Murphy from Ericsson. Can the DoD or systems integrators like Booz Allen or OSIS or Lockheed or so on be partners in this?
Yes, they could be partners. The one thing I will say with that is, since this funding is for public good, in terms of use cases or utility of the funds, we cannot leverage the funds for DoD use cases or DoD direct applications.
Okay, thank you.
Ali?
Yeah. So as a part of ORU commercialization part, if a Saudi MNO consider a US supplier of ORU and it needs interoperability. So the funding will also cover the interoperability perspectives.
Correct. So ultimately, we want the ORU that is being developed or additional funding being applied to, ensuring that there is a transition so that there is interoperability between that ORU, whatever baseband unit it would be interoperating with.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, I see another hand up. Go ahead.
From text. Thank you very much. What about establishing laboratories for testing overseas? Is it considered as part of the proposal to receive funding?
Developing, can you say that one more time? I apologize, it cut out.
I mean, sometimes part of the for testing overseas, The proposal may involve building new laboratories, a lab, like a specialized lab for Open RAN and or just radio units. Okay, so the cost for building this infrastructure as for labs being part of the proposal, is it considered as acceptable or potential to receive the grant?
Yeah, I think in that scenario, building a separate overseas lab would probably lopside sort of the requirement of most of the R&D work to be done in the US. So understanding that some testing and trials will need to be done overseas, I think standing up a lab would probably be too costly a venture in that scenario.
Last call for questions. Give it 30 more seconds in case anyone has a final question for the group.
Okay, and if folks have, again, questions that you think of after today or additional questions after more detailed reading of the NOFO, please use the website. Please use the email for the Innovation Fund. We will respond to you.
Great. Well, a huge thanks to Amanda for briefing everyone. Thank you to everyone for joining today. And we'll be standing by. Please use the email for additional questions and feel free to reach out on other Open RAN cooperation opportunities as well. So thank you and have a great rest of your day.
Yes, thank you and good luck to all of you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.